How can corruption be curbed in Kenya? Corruption by definition is the misuse of public power, by elected politician or appointed civil servant, for private gain. There are so many ways in which one can identify corruption, although most of us understand corruption from a monetary point of view. In Kenya, this cancer has really metastasized and things are not rosy at all. It's undermining the nation's development agenda, fight against terror, provision of efficient and reliable government services. i.e., it's a threat to the country's future. The most corrupt-prone, according to research conducted by Transparency International Institution in Kenya and as the Kenya Police, followed by Land, Judiciary Registry, licensing offices. Kenya has had 3 presidents since independence, with each regime having its fair share of corruption-related cases that have and are still bleeding our economy dry. How we still survive is by the grace of God and the resilience of our Kenyan people press on despite this immense challenge directly affecting our quality of life. Major causes of corruption in Kenya. Hastening service delivery, e.g. in immigration offices while applying for an identity card, title deeds, hospitals, licenses and certifications, etc. These services are usually done by underpaid civil servants to evade tax by selling substandard products to innocent Kenyans. Tribalism equals your tribe can decide your fate. I can compare it to racism, whereby your name can sort of sound more black or white. Lack of political will by elected leaders to fight corruption equals greed, weak or absence of management systems, procedures and practices coupled by serious underfunding and manpower equals toothless bulldog, the agency that is supposed to fight corruption. Weak civil society equals through bills being tabled in parliament to reduce or cut funding, in the name of fighting terrorist organizations in the country. How to curb corruption in Kenya. Pay civil servants well. When their wages are too low, the workers are under pressure to supplement their daily needs in unofficial ways. Needs such as good housing, healthcare, security and education for their families. Van Rijkegem and Wieder, 2001. Did some empirical work showing that in a sample of less developed countries, there is an inverse relationship between the level of public sector wages and the incidence of corruption. Creating openness in government spending. All the public expenditure and budgeting is mostly under the control of the politicians. The government collects taxes, tap the capital market to raise money and receive foreign aid. These require openness and transparency. It reduces the chances of corruption. Cutting red tape. Online government services could not have come at a better time like this. It will greatly reduce corruption and the same time increase revenue. E.g. the Estonian, e-Estonia, digital reform. Promoting equality of powers and wealth through voting wisely. Although our new constitution advocates for this, the gap between the haves and have-nots is widening daily. With them having a penchant to strengthen their grip on power, they use all means possible to maintain status quo. Voting wisely can really help in this. Political will. This can be through empowering the institutions responsible for fighting corruption. With adequate finance, power such as the power to arrest and prosecute, adequate human resource. Lastly, respecting Chapter 6 of our Constitution 2010 about leadership and integrity. All leaders elected, appointed should comply with the requirements devoid of any nepotism, favoritism or tribalism. Corruption has become a disaster in Kenya. It will take many years to change AMD get rid of this vice. Sometime back, corruption used to exist in government offices through deals, tenders and other related transactions. Today corruption is rampant even in private setups, starting from the top offices to the guards securing the premises. This tells you that it is deeply ingrained in our value system, hence it's become a culture. Some say our founding fathers promoted it by their conduct with no repercussions. Among important to be done to curb this vice or reduce it to minimal levels is to introduce very punitive measures and laws to punish those apprehended. We have seen this being a tall order for our government. Shows you the level of commitment. In China it is punishable by death sentence. Let the impact of corruption be taught in our schools, including the disadvantages. I believe if the same is done, our value system would improve and a generation would rise to fight the same. Charity begins at home. What the UAE has done to help it grow is to hire expatriates to implement its ruthless agenda of being a top business and destination. If we could replace some of our national organizations and replicate the same, it would go a long way. I believe the current heads have been defeated to fight the same. It of course begins with our national ruler, president. Lately there has been a crack on corrupt government officials, but there's still much more to be done. The president should lead the way. A lot can be said on curbing corruption, but it boils down to our value systems and the importance of each process.